Hey there, I'm Tom from Envato Tuts Plus, and I'm a commercial filmmaker with about 10 years worth of experience. So when I tuned into the Super Bowl this year, I was not looking at the gameplay, I was not focused on the halftime show, instead I was looking at the commercials. And I noticed a bit of a trend this year, and I thought I've got to make a video about this and bring it to you. What was that trend? Well, it's a little bit of teal and a little bit of orange. America, you have an obsession with teal and orange in your commercials. We've got to talk about it. Now, this video is of course brought to you by Envato Elements, which is a super simple to use subscription service for all of your digital asset needs, including LUTs, which give you that great teal and orange look to your footage. You can check out Envato Elements in the link below, and I'll talk a little bit more about it at the end of this video. Now, teal and orange, the teal and orange look. Why do we gravitate towards it so much? Well, fundamentally, it's because they're complementary colors. That's really the only science that you need to know about it. These two colors on the color wheel are complementary, and that's why our eye is drawn to them so much. But on top of that, there's also a contrast thing as well. So in terms of complementary colors, teal and orange actually have the highest exposure value contrast ratio between them. So there's something to do with creating contrast and depth there in that color grade, and that draws our eye to it. And the third thing is, if you're pushing your shadows generally in the background more towards teal and blues, and then bringing the natural oranges that are in skin tones out to the front, you're creating depth and contrast yet again. So these are all like the technical color science reasons why we might tend to lean towards an orange and teal look. And also it kind of just looks like a nice sunset on a beach somewhere. So, I mean, who could argue with that? It's definitely got that golden hour feel. So let's look at this first one here. This is The Grand Escape by Taco Bell featuring Doja Cat. And you can see immediately, it's very stylized. You've got a lot of orange and teal in the production design, and then the lighting as well, the practical lamps behind her, even down to the blue and teal eyeshadow. We get into this Jeep section now. The Jeep itself is basically teal and orange. The sky there, very teal. All of the afternoon light hitting the streets here, orange. This one is cut and dry, hardcore, teal and orange look. Also, it's leaning very heavily into the 90s trend, which is happening all across design at the moment. You can see here there's clearly a nod to Clueless with the Jeep there, and Doja Cat is covering the classic Hole track, Celebrity Skin. Those of you who were not born in the 90s like me, maybe go and check it out. There's also a little bit of that gamer trend at the end as well, with the kind of blue and red neons, that purple glow look. Everything about this Taco Bell ad is very on trend right now. It's very Gen Z. Next up, we've got the Squarespace spot featuring Zendaya and Andre 3000. Again, this speaks exactly to what I was saying before. It looks like golden hour. You're sitting on the beach, you've got that nice teal water, you've got a beautiful sunset over the bay, and you can see that summery light dripping throughout this commercial. Even, again, the production design plays a big part in this. She's wearing a lot of oranges, and all of her background elements and supporting elements like the truck here are teal. So her costume design has literally gone from teal to orange and back again. This one is a very stylized piece of filmmaking, but very straightforward in its use of color here. It's not as intense as the Taco Bell one, but it's still very stylized. Now this next one is from Lay's, the chip brand. We've got Seth Rogen and Paul Rudd here, old mates who you feel like, you know, you'd be friends with as well. I'm sure they'd be friends with me, right, in real life. What I really like about this spot here is that they've used kind of a bunch of different filmmaking techniques to show these different moments in their lives. There's like a horror film aspect to it. There's a classic road trip, which is very sun-drenched as well. But throughout all of this, you'll find orange and teal. Most prevalently, it's in the action scene where they're fighting off the gang in the turf war here. You can see very clearly the frame is almost split between teal and orange. So next up, we've got Amazon Alexa Super Bowl spot with Scarlett Johansson and Colin Jost. And you'll see here, it's much more pared back and it's sort of rooted in reality. They're not going for an overly stylized look, they're just going for real life with a hint of teal and orange. And I think the kitchen shot really sums it up well. You've got this almost warm light hitting Colin, but you can see his shadow throwing on the wall there is coming across a little blue. So you're pushing blues into the shadows and you're bringing orange into your highlights just to add that warmth. And that's a really simple way to just get a little bit of this look in without making it over the top. You can also see here as well in one of the opening shots, in the far background behind Scarlett, you've got these teal shadows in the left-hand side of frame. And then behind Colin here, we've got an artwork that has some orange in it. And the light is a little bit more warm here. Skipping forward towards the end of this spot, again, you can see the background. We've got highlights on the back wall, even if it's blurred out in orange, and then the shadows of the wall are quite blue. And then a nice orange highlight on Scarlett's hair there. Now this AT&T spot, again, similar to the Alexa one, it's trying to root it in reality. We're not going for overly stylized, like with the Clown College in the Taco Bell one. But you can see here, the highlights on the stage, very orange. All of the shadows around the stage, very blue. Now this is done with actual stage lighting, colored gels rather than just pushing it in the color grade, but also you're using the color grade to bring that out. In basically every shot, you've got blue hues in the background and you've got orange hues in the foreground. This one is cut and dry, very simple, teal and orange. The colorists have actually paid a lot of attention to all the varying skin tones as well in this look. You've got a lot of blues and a lot of oranges in your background and foreground elements and your highlights as well. But have a look at the skin tones throughout. No matter the skin tone of the actor in shot, it's balanced really nicely and is creating this great contrast between foreground, background, and then our actor as well. All right, and the last one I've got on my list here, and don't get me wrong, there were way more examples of this, but we've got to keep this video short somehow, is the Michelob Ultra spot. There was a couple with Peyton Manning and Steve Buscemi in a bowling alley. Again, really stylized here, but not pushing it too far. We started off with the most stylized with that Doja Cat Taco Bell clown example, but this one definitely pushing the color grade toward those teal and orange hues. You can see this in the opening shot of the bowling alley here. Almost dark blue skies, very twilight. We've got more of a red than an orange in the neon sign here, but those hues are pushing towards that teal and orange look that we're so familiar with now. I think it looks great. It's engaging, it's creating some drama there. Can you imagine what this would look like if it was just a daytime shot with just a normal sky in the background? You don't have the neons on. It wouldn't look good, it wouldn't look intriguing. You wouldn't be thinking, I wonder what's happening inside that bowling alley. You'd just be like, all right, let's move on to the next thing. The opening shot inside the bowling alley, the far background with what I think is a jukebox has very much teal in it. The very front ball, closest to camera in the foreground, is orange. So there's clearly a trend in these commercials this year during the Super Bowl. But where did all of this teal and orange come from? So in the early 2000s, when we really started to take film and digitize it and then do the digital color grading process rather than the chemical color grading process that we'd been using on film up until that point, you had colorists who were able to take these digital tools and push the look of a film really far in one direction. Obviously The Matrix is a really good example of a very heavy color grade that really takes the content and pushes it into another world using color. Then we saw that drop off a little bit, but we actually then saw a resurgence of it in the early 2010s around 2009 to 2012-13. A lot of those big budget summer blockbusters, think your Iron Man 2s, Captain America, a lot of the X-Men films, Days of Future Past has a really strong teal and orange look to it. But then I felt like it got a little bit overdone and Hollywood started to move away from it when a lot more sort of advertising and content creators like us started to maybe overuse it. But then it's taken a bit of a backseat and we've gone more towards that natural look, often favoring skin tone above all else, making everything look nice and neutral, but obviously popping and standing out. But now, I don't know, maybe with this new wave of Super Bowl TV commercials, are we going to see a resurgence in teal and orange looks? I don't know, you tell me. Tell me in the comments if you really like the teal and orange look or if you think it's just way overdone. But the good news is, if you do like it, you can jump onto Envato Elements right now. There's a link in the description below, and you can download some great LUT packs to get that teal and orange look for your footage. And there's also great Lightroom presets as well if you're a photographer and you're looking to capture that teal and orange, sunset, beach, dripping in summer look to your photography and your videography. Please jump onto it now, download to your heart's content. I hope you enjoyed this quick little video of my thoughts and feelings watching the Super Bowl commercials. Tell me if anything else jumped out at you. Did you see any trends making their way through all of these commercials this week? Or was it just the teal and orange that caught our eyes? Well, until next time, stay safe and keep on creating.